everybody, it's Marybeth, Community Education Director at Wasatch Community Gardens, here to talk about what to plant now in your garden. Over the coming weeks we'll talk about different crops, but today we're going to talk about peas. So if you have any pea seed packs, go and get them so that you can look and see exactly what you have. First of all, there are a lot of different types of peas. So there's the English shelling pea, like Early Frosty, Green Arrow, Lincoln. Those are the kinds where the pods are not edible and you have to pop the peas out of the pod and then compost the pods. So that's one kind of pea. There's also snow peas. Those are those long flat ones. You see them a lot in stir fries. They're great in salads. You see them a lot at salad bars. And there are also snap peas, and snap peas look like a shelling pea, but you can eat the whole pod. So it's really important to know what kind of pea you have, or if you're still going to order your seeds, then you can make sure and look in the description and know which one you're ordering. Once you have chosen what kind of pea you want to grow, you also need to decide what the growth habit is that you can accommodate in your garden. So there are little dwarf peas that you can even grow in pots, like little Tom Thumb peas. They sell them at Baker Creek, which is still taking seed orders as of March 21st. They also sell them at Seed Savers Exchange. Tom Thumb peas are English shelling peas, so the pods are not edible, and they only grow about 8 to 9 inches high. They might really be fun to grow with kids, or in containers, pots. They're very forgiving and really easy to grow. So there's the dwarf growth habit. There's also the bush or self-supporting growth habit peas. That means that the plants only grow maybe 2 to 3 feet and they're full of tendrils and they kind of hang on to each other. One thing that I do for my self-supporting peas is I do stick these branches, you know, tree branches, very, very fancy. Just kidding. These trellis-like objects just down the middle of the row. It just kind of gives them something to grab onto besides each other. But if you don't have anything like that, virtually all bush-style peas will be fine just clinging on to each other. If they get a little floppy, that's fine. There are other kinds of peas, though, that really need to climb. They're climbing varieties. They get between 5 and 8 feet tall. So, for example, Super Sugar Snap, I don't know if you can see that, they'll get up to 72 inches high. Spring Blush is a really fun variety of pea. So they're Sugar Snap peas that climb. They get about this big and they're green, but they have a little bit of a pink tinge on the pod, so that's kind of fun. There are snow peas that climb, lots of different kinds. This is one called Golden Sweet, and they'll get a good 6 feet high. So you want to have some sort of either very tall set of, you know, twigs that you can find, or some actual trellis for them to grow. In terms of planting your peas, you're basically going to plant them about 1 to 1.5 inches deep in the soil and about 1 to 2 inches apart in the row. So pretty simple. You just stick your peas in the ground and they're probably going to grow just fine. When you stick them in the soil, you want to cover them with the soil and then pat them down gently or water them in. I don't think watering in the coming week is going to be a really big deal because it's supposed to rain several days. So Mother Nature is going to do your watering for you. You know, you can always stick your finger down in the soil and see if it's dried out. Once your seeds, any seeds, start to imbibe water or drink in the water and begin that process of germination, you have to maintain that moisture. If they dry out, they will die. I have very little problem. I don't think I've ever had a problem in the spring with peas drying out. In fact, you may have the opposite problem if you keep them too wet, or if the soil temperature is really cold and it is very wet and raining a lot, they can actually rot in the ground. So we don't want that to happen. I don't think that is going to happen. Water them when you plant them, and then let the week go by. Let Mother Nature do your watering for you. Kind of keep an eye on it and you should be fine. If your peas don't come up after about 2 weeks, you might want to root around in that row and see what is going on. Are they there but they just haven't popped up through the soil surface yet, or do they appear not to be there? If they appear not to be there, one possibility is that they didn't rot in the ground, but that birds came along and ate them. Birds are looking for food all the time too, so they may come through your garden and eat your seeds. So I'm going to show you a little trick here that I do in my garden. This is a bed of peas that I've already planted, and what I have done is cover them. Here, I'm going to turn the camera. I've covered them with these trays that I've just collected over the years for free. For example, Mill Creek Gardens, which is a supporter of Wasatch Community Gardens Community Education Program workshops, gives these away for free, not in mass quantities, but if you go and buy like a 6-pack of pansies or something, they will let you take one of these home with you, and you just collect them over time, and they make a perfect bird proofing system. And so that's all I've got today for peas. Another segment we'll do on peas will have to do with inoculant, which is optional and not necessary, but can improve the productivity of your peas. So stay tuned for another little mini episode where we talk about inoculating your peas and what that all means. We'll also be back to talk about other crops, to plant now, what not to plant now, and we'll do our best to keep you guys growing and eating healthy, organic, local food. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.